Welcome to The Stack, a weekly podcast where we discuss the latest in the world of marketing, sales, and tech. I'm your host. I'm your host, Sean Henry.
I'm Tim Staberski.
And I'm Ryan Sylvester.
Today is Thursday, January 10th, 2019. We're coming to you from Pepperline Marketing, Cheshire, Connecticut. It's episode number 36. And today we've got lots of interesting updates from Google and HubSpot and just general SEO news. Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good stuff. Ryan, how's your week going?
It's going.
Yeah, I shouldn't reveal your personal life details.
Oh, the wedding planning?
Oh, all right, you did it yourself.
Yeah.
How's the wedding planning going?
I have 300 things to do this weekend.
Yeah?
So I don't even know what they are, but
wedding related.
she will tell me and I will just go.
Are you guys selecting like a drink of the night or something?
Yeah, actually we did. Yep. It's an old fashioned. So for those whiskey lovers,
Good stuff.
come on by.
Is that a thing now at weddings?
Yeah, usually
Everyone has a
like
theme.
Your own like cocktail or something like that.
I hate the
We
world.
had some, I don't remember what it was. It was like there was a name, Benini. But
that sounds
I don't
familiar.
drink anything other than wine and beer, so I forget like what the stuff was called. But it was like champagne with some sort of fruit in it. It was really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
fancy.
All
Yeah, and I had Guinness behind
Wow.
the bar.
Of course.
Yeah.
Was it
Guinness.
open bar?
Yes.
It's a way to roll.
Yeah, but not when you get onto the bus.
Bus?
Yeah, when people get shuttled back to the hotel after an open bar.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
gets people. It's bumpy.
We don't have a bus. So.
All right. Well, that's good. So each week we kind of go through some of the news developments, content that caught our eye, and try to boil it down for you guys and give you a few key takeaways. So this is our second episode of the year, and all the good stuff is starting to come back out. Last week was a bit of a slow week content-wise.
for sure.
A lot of good stuff this week. And Ryan, I think you've got the first, or was that Tim?
I think Tim has
this one.
It's me.
That's
Have at
fine.
it, Tim.
So this is sort of more of an update from Google. Pick up where you left off on search by Andrew Moore for the keyword, which is Google's sort of product blog. A few months ago, you might remember Google announced that there'd be some pretty big changes coming to search, primarily around the way that like modern searchers use the tool to complete tasks. We will link to a previous episode of The Stack where we've sort of dove into those in more detail. But one part of that announcement was the fact that Google would allow searchers to sort of pick up where they left off when they started searching around sort of longer term goals or problems. To quote, and the news here is that that's finally going live. It's about to be live. So users are going to begin actually seeing this as an option when they're using Google. So to quote directly from the article, to help you with these ongoing search journeys, we're launching new activity cards to help you pick up where you left off. If you're logged into your Google account and search for topics and hobbies like cooking, interior design, fashion, skincare, to go on for a little bit, you may find an activity card at the top of the results page that provides an easy way for you to continue your exploration. You'll find links to pages you visited in the past, along with searches you've done. From there, you can easily click back to that recipe that you tried and loved, or reissue a search to discover new facets of that topic. And the reason we care about this is just because it has the potential to really change the way that people use Google and other search engines, depending on how they follow suit, to complete their tasks. If someone's more likely to go back to those first results that they encounter when they're doing a months-long research process, then it's more important than ever that, if that is your customer, you are the person, you are the website, you are the company that they're coming to first, because you can begin building that trust from an earlier stage. You can be the source that they turn back to over and over again, the name they remember, and ultimately the company they buy from. If that is, what their search is around, making a purchase. It kind of depends.
It'll be interesting to see if there's a way to isolate the traffic that's coming from one of these.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to have to check out. Probably won't be, at least initially, but it'd be nice if they're adding some like
Trackability.
Yeah. So you can segment that out. Could be a bad thing though too, right? For just learning new things? Like, you're doing searches and you're just kind of coming back to some of the old.
That's the thing. And I do wonder too. I mean, it's possible that a user might see, I've already been on that page. I don't have to go back and purposely look for different sources. It's new, so we have to kind of see how it goes, but
Kind of cool though. Yeah. Definitely keep an eye on it.
Something else from Google. The title is "Inside Google Marketing: 3 Ways We Think About SEO." So this comes from Sean O'Keefe for Google. So this is like Google's attempt to pull back the curtain and kind of expose a few things of how they think of SEO. And I wanted to read a quote from this article. Of course, there are plenty of other ways to drive traffic to your website. Paid media, social posts, display advertising are just a few. But when done well, SEO can provide an important and cost-effective strategy for organic growth. And then they kind of go into talking about, people are constantly asking about updates and algorithm changes and ranking factors and all that stuff. And they say that it's no different for them internally. Google itself owns around 7,000 websites that are managed by hundreds of product and marketing teams all over the world. So they give 3 big tips. The first one is starting small. So Sean references the Google My Business marketing site, and they kind of spiked out. I'll put a picture in the show notes, a graph of their organic traffic and when they implemented changes, and you can kind of see it, over time and eventually doubling in size. So they added things like canonical tags and updated their XML sitemap and improved meta tags. So they suggest starting small. And if you are going to start small, you should probably look at title tags, broken links, meta descriptions, things like that.
Those small things can have a big impact. You might think, and maybe you're right that maybe ultimately you do want to completely rewrite or recreate a page, but start with the small stuff. See what benefits that might have before you dedicate the time.
And I think that in the background, Google kind of looks at this as a foundation. And, they're probably thinking, well, you can't build a good house on a bad foundation. So if all your title tags and meta descriptions and structure is properly structured, I guess, there's a good chance that it'll change once you start to improve your content. Second tip they give is embracing change. This is kind of boiled down to one main tip. And just because there is such constant change, don't be afraid to embrace it. Don't be afraid to try things. Just recently, they're making switches to mobile first indexing and the structured data stuff. So, definitely give all that stuff a shot, but just stay in the know and, follow important figures from Google and stay on their blog and things like that and listen to this podcast. The last thing that they say is to consolidate. Sean says that it can be tempting to create multiple websites, each containing very similar content to target different customer profiles or geographic regions. In fact, it's something we've done at Google. A recent audit revealed that over the years, we had developed a large number of near duplicate sites based on different campaigns or marketing goals. So duplicate content is obviously confusing for searchers, but again, confusing for search engines. So you want to make sure that you're consolidating all that stuff and don't spread yourself too thin. Make one site really great and, don't try to make 4 crappy sites, I guess, targeting different keywords.
And, just a point there is with the vast advances we've made in different technologies now, you don't have to create a separate website to target a different audience with the same webpage. I mean, just using something like smart content in HubSpot, if your website is built on HubSpot, can allow you to significantly tailor your messaging depending on the segment you're targeting, as long as you know who that person is.
A few really interesting things in this article. So it's Google, right? You would think that they've got it nailed. They've got everything just perfect because they're the ones who
created. They run the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think it's the 3rd paragraph in. He says, we at Google own 7,000 websites that are managed by hundreds of product and marketing teams all over the world. Over 200 changes are made to these websites every single day, all of which could potentially affect a site's SEO. That is the typical large business anywhere. There's multiple people contributing content to the website. It's constantly changing day in, day out, and that's causing problems. So every website, big and small, but especially those big websites, needs to have a dedicated SEO strategy, somebody who's actually focused on it, whether it's internal or external, or you're going to be missing some things that are really holding back your growth. And that's kind of what they had here. The things that they fixed, although semi-technical, canonical tags, changes to their sitemap, it's kind of basic SEO,
Yeah.
but it just had to get done. They needed somebody to look at it, and they've doubled their traffic by resolving these things. So
Pretty cool. It's also, I don't know, refreshing to see a chart of Google's traffic reflecting the kind of chart that you're likely to see, where
ups and downs.
there are ups and downs. It's
Yeah.
not just, straight up. Makes Google feel a little more human,
Yeah, I love that they're being transparent about it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good find, Ryan.
Thank you.
Am I up next?
You
You
are.
are.
Oh boy.
Google
All right.
launches new feature in mobile friendly and rich results tools.
Yeah, so I love me some Twitter, and I saw a few tweets over the week or the weekend or whatever this came out. But the tweet came from the Google Webmasters, so it's at Google WMC Twitter handle, and they said with little megaphone emojis, "New feature in rich results test. As we announced at Chrome Dev Summit, the rich results test now supports code editing in the tool. We prepared a rich snippet for you to fiddle with." So this is not really a new tool, but now you can kind of fiddle with it and troubleshoot issues directly in it. Now, if you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, which you probably don't, rich results are all the cool little features that you see on the search results page. That could be a featured snippet. It could be a carousel of news articles,
Recipe cards.
a list of upcoming events. You're seeing more and more of this stuff show up in search results. And the way you get that is you have to put some extra code onto your website. So, you have to have some coding knowledge. You have to have a developer on the team to do this for you, or, hire an external developer to help you with it. But it really makes your content pop in search results. It makes it easier for a search engine to see what's on the page and then surface that to the searcher. And if you do that, you typically will see huge gains in your click-through rate. So let's say you're ranking number 3 in search results, and there's 1,000 monthly searchers, and you had a click-through rate of 15%, and suddenly you implement structured data and you get that rich result. Now instead of 15%, you're going up to 20 or 25%. You're seeing noticeable gains in traffic by doing this. So really cool. And they actually have this whole library of different types of features that you could consider implementing. There's course structured data. There was recipes.
There's about 30
they're always
total.
adding to them too.
Yeah.
So we'll include a link to this. It's a good idea to go here from time to time and just see what the options are. Find a handful of examples that you think would apply for your business, and see what it would take to get it implemented, because the payoff really could be massive. But the beautiful thing is, now when you run those pages through this tool, you're going to see the little components that you've overlooked.
I did try to run a couple pages through it today and nothing.
Yeah.
And like big websites too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised that they didn't have anything on there.
But yeah, you could fiddle with the code directly there in the tool now.
It's really helpful. It was kind of fun. I changed there. It's a recipe card that they give you as a sample to change it from party cake to an elbow pasta bake. Pretty pleased with myself.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out.
I think it's back to you, Sean.
Is it really?
No.
I thought we had some
Oh, is
news
that
from.
Yeah, it's HubSpot news now.
Oh, I didn't realize we were treating both of those as one. Sorry. Let me close out some tabs. Make my life a little bit less complicated. All right.
Tim was dozing off.
Yeah.
He was busy snapping on Snapchat.
I was Snapchatting, yeah. So this article comes from Ben Jacobson over at Marketing Land, and it's titled HubSpot CEO Brian Halligan reflects on the evolution of inbound marketing. So this was a really interesting article where Brian Halligan, one of the co-founders of HubSpot and a major early proponent of the inbound marketing movement, sat down and discussed the current state of inbound marketing. Where it came from, how it's changing. It's full of a lot of really interesting insights, especially coming from Brian Halligan. But some of the more interesting ones to me and to us were, what he sees looking ahead. To quote from the article, marketers getting started with inbound marketing now are doing so in a more crowded content landscape than ever. You can't start blogging and then declare inbound marketing doesn't work when you're a month in and don't have any new customers from it yet. That doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means it requires more patience. And this is, largely true. It's something that we've known for a couple of years now, honestly. Years ago, when there were relatively few companies out there putting out content as a part of their marketing efforts, it was pretty easy to rank pretty quickly for certain terms, because there just wasn't competition out there. It doesn't, now that there's more competition and now that inbound marketing in general is more mainstream, it takes more time. It's more challenging to break into. That being said, this in no way means that inbound marketing is dead, or that you shouldn't pursue it. It just means that you need to be smarter about how you do it. While Brian Halligan didn't have anything specific that he suggested, as a part of this interview that he gave, some of our general advice, it can be boiled down into these 5 takeaways. One is focus on creating really valuable, unique content instead of worrying about volume. Google's always rewarded quality, and the surest way that you can ensure that you rank well in search is to create content that your customers actually want to read. Content that helps them accomplish something, or that is really interesting, or that just aligns with where they are in the buyer's journey. Like, that's the content that is going to see the click through. Google's going to know this. You're going to get rewarded for it. Am I running through all these? Do we want to take turns?
You go for it.
All right.
It's on,
Number 2.
You're holding the team up right now.
Number 2, remember that inbound is one part of the marketing puzzle. Other forms of marketing, like conversational marketing through live chat and Facebook Messenger, for example, show a lot of promise now and can really move the needle for your business. It's not like inbound is just one piece. Content is one piece. It should be supported by other pieces of a broader strategy. That's always been true. It's just as true now as it has been. Number 3, you might want to consider supplementing your content plan with paid ads, whether through paid search or paid social, especially when you're first starting. If you're a company, if you're just getting started with content marketing, inbound takes some time. It's an engine that'll funnel you customers, but it takes some time to get warmed up. It's like a pizza oven that has to be started 3 hours before you bake a pie. It's not going to work right away. It's got to take some time. It's got to warm up. It's got to be given that time. So ads can help you fill the gap in your pipeline, especially if you have a longer
sales cycle.
There we go. Longer sales cycle. The paid ads can really help you at the beginning of that process. Number 4 is kind of a continuation there. Is remember that inbound is a long-term game. You might not get a bunch of deals right away, but over time, as you continue to add new content to your website, it's possible to gain a lot of traction. And the content you create today could be the content 5 years from now that's funneling you, 10 new leads a day or week. I don't know. So bear that in mind as you're getting started. And then number 5, possibly one of the more important of our takeaways, is look for a niche. While the amount of content on the web has exploded in recent years, there are still markets and industries that are underserved by content creators. So in these cases, it's possible to still very quickly rank for searches just because no one else is putting out content. There might not be a ton of volume around it, but if you are, I don't know, a plastic injection molding company that is the only company blogging about plastic injection molding, you're likely to be getting that highly qualified traffic and
One-
improving your bottom line.
One thing I will say about the HubSpot stuff, even back in the day when I was learning,
Back in the day.
the HubSpot, methodology and, getting all the certifications and such, like even from when we went to inbound, like, the methodology didn't really make a drastic switch, but it's definitely different. So they update all their stuff just as Google is. So I think a lot of these things that you have been saying is just like keep your eye on, all the puzzle pieces, but like those pieces sometimes, get shifted and change.
Yeah, it's always changing.
Yeah.
And you just have to be aware of those changes. Be aware of it's not even so much, it's not that marketing's changing. It's the way that people buy, the way that people search can change, and that's what you need to be aware of.
I think for 90% of the businesses, that traditional inbound playbook still works.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you're in if you're a SaaS company, that's maybe a different story, but I don't know. Huge opportunity for just follow the basics and
Yeah.
So say I.
So I don't know why that sounded like Latin to me or something.
Hard for us. Like, we're competing against thousands of other marketing agencies, marketing software
But
companies.
again, that's where that sort of niche comes into play.
So that's it for our roundup of news and content and articles that caught our eye, but we do feature an app or tool of the week each week. And I came across this one. It's called Sheets for Marketers. So this is a collection of Google Sheets, specifically Google Sheets that are going to appeal to marketers. And it's wonderful because it allows you to automate manual tasks, the types of things that you find yourself doing in a very manual way on a day-to-day basis, like looking for broken links on other websites to try to pursue for link building purposes, or, looking at your title tags and meta descriptions, all the kind of stuff that we think about as marketers or SEO professionals or content developers, whatever you might be. So nice collection of awesome killer resources that are free. So would recommend checking that out and see if it helps you. And maybe it'll give you some cool ideas of formulas that you can create and in Google Sheets to come up with your own little template.
Yeah, I think all of these are just kind of, they're all really helpful, really cool, but they can all be adjusted. They can all be sort of flavored your own way if you find that you need to tweak them a bit to work for your business.
I like that we have our own variation of about half of these. Any stand out to you guys?
Sean is smart.
Oh, I like the one where I can't remember which one it was, but the one where you can just paste a URL in there and it gives you the title tag meta description, and then you could make adjustments right there in the sheet. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah.
So lightning round.
Lightning round.
Quick lightning round this week. Number 1 on the list is Instagram now lets you regram your posts to multiple accounts. I know a few people on my gram that would probably appreciate that.
Have you guys tried that?
No.
I have not.
Have you?
No, but I know many people that would be pleased.
Yeah, I can think of a few. Second one is 11 little known features in the Screaming Frog SEO Spider. So we definitely have to check that out.
There's a lot of stuff you could do with Screaming Frog.
So many, yeah. The last one is Facebook is the new crapware. And
I like that headline. I have no idea what it means.
So it talks about how Facebook is going to be auto-installed on a lot of Android devices and undeletable.
Oh,
yeah,
that's interesting.
And it also talks about like data tracking and stuff like that. So
I'll throw two other ones out there. One I just thought was kind of a funny headline, but not really super. I don't know. I guess it's relevant to us marketers. People older than 65 share the most fake news a new study finds.
I agree.
No comment.
I concur from my own personal experience.
I would love to drop that down to probably late 40s.
Yep. Something I think we'll be talking about next week, but we'll find out. SEOs noticing ranking volatility in Google's search results. Lots of chatter. There's a nice little shakeup happening.
Oh boy.
Yep. So we'll see what that means.
But until then.
And you think next week?
I think we'll have a good idea by next week.
Official
If it's a
Sean Henry
thing or if
prediction.
it's not a thing. I mean, like people notice a little bit of movement. They're like, "Oh my god, it's a change!"
Yeah.
And sometimes it is. Sometimes it
They
isn't.
are on it, like right on it directly. It's wild.
I just want to have one of them named after me. The Sean update.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, probably won't happen, but
Probably not. No.
I can put that on my life goals list. All right. That's it for this week. If you liked what you heard, leave us a review. If you hated it, that's totally fine too. Just let us know so we can make things better for you. But you subscribe on where are we these days, Ryan?
iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play Music,
You have no excuse.
YouTube-ish
don't.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see you next week.